Hello, and thank you for visiting Graphene Business Law. If you're watching this video on YouTube, go ahead and click on the red subscribe button down below. On this channel, we regularly post content that is of interest to entrepreneurs and small business owners as our clientele base, but of course, we also have educational videos for students and some other streams of videos as well. My name is Pamela Metani, and I am the founder and principal lawyer here at Graphene. Today's topic is one that is especially interesting and I find of particular importance to business owners and small business owners, and that is the topic of partnerships. Now, why is this topic interesting? As a business owner or an up-and-coming entrepreneur, you have a lot of choice as to how you choose to structure your business. For example, you can carry on business as a sole proprietor, you can incorporate and have a corporation, or you can have a partnership, just to name a few examples. And I'll post another video on the differences between those kind of formations. But in today's video, I specifically wanted to discuss what partnerships are. I think there is a colloquial sense or a common talk sense of we're partners, and then of course there's the law sense of we're partners. And today's video picks apart some of those nuances with, again, particular highlight and particular focus on what will matter most to you as a either existing business owner that's looking to convert to a partnership, or an up-and-coming business owner, somebody with a great idea that's looking to create that business structure that makes most sense for you. So, in terms of partnerships, there's a definition that floats around in Canadian business law, and it's quite textbook in the sense that cases talk about it, authors talk about it, legal scholars talk about it. It's a very commonly accepted definition of partnership. And I'll just read it here. Partnership is the relationship that exists between persons carrying on business in common with a view to profit. I'll pull apart this definition in a little bit, but I want to focus on one starting piece of information, and that is that, of course, a partnership can be one between more than two persons. I think in everyday speak, partnership sometimes can have a definition that we understand most as two people coming together. However, in business, that relationship of partnership can legally include many partners coming together. Okay? And another important starting piece of information to share about partnerships is that a partnership can exist between those two or more persons, even when they're not explicitly, when it hasn't been explicitly defined as so. And I'll expand on that later. But now I want to pull apart those essential components of the definition of partnership. And the first one was about having a business. The second one was about having that common aspect to it, so partners in common. And the third is about having a view to profit. Okay? And again, I want to highlight that as regards the business aspect of it, a partnership can actually, we've seen in courts, or in cases, I should say, coming out of those courtrooms, that a partnership can exist even before your business situation is operational. A partnership can exist even at the intentional stage or the intentionality stage. So you're intending to form that partnership, you're intending to be in a partnership, depending on circumstances, and of course that's where it's important to consult a lawyer. Depending on circumstances, you can be seen to be in a partnership even prior to, going out on the street and putting that partner sign on your front door. Okay? Now, again, when it comes to those essential components, the second one was that aspect of partners in common. What does this mean? The people involved in the partnership, the individuals involved, the persons involved, need to have an interest in common. Okay, so what does that mean, and how do we protect that? Because you can think you have, and by the way, I know this point, might be way too redundant and too preliminary, but I do want to distinguish that when we're talking about interest in common, we're talking about interest in common as regards what was step one, the business, right? So we're not talking about hobbies in common or, things to do with your family in common. As funny as that sounds, important to distinguish, we're talking about interest in common as regards your business. So essential element 1 was business. Essential element 2 is that in common part, okay? Now, how do you explain this legally? The best way I can think of as a lawyer, as a business lawyer, is to make it formal and put it in writing, okay? We've seen in courts that partnerships can be found to exist actually even when there is no written agreement, when there's no formal agreement, and when there is no contract, when there's no partnership agreement. However, I don't want this to sound as an easy way into entering a partnership, or an easy way to go out on your own and have a few conversations with the few people you intend to enter into business with, because these areas, missing this paperwork, missing these formal agreements, are also areas where we see a lot of the troubles being formed, right, in the area of business law, and specifically with partnership agreements, partnership formations. Why would you not want to protect yourself in writing, but also protect, the greater partnership as well? If this is something you're serious about and you're thinking is going to be long-term, and is, you think you have just a great idea that's going to really generate profits and help you in some way, right? We're not starting these businesses to make our lives worse off. We don't enter into partnerships to make our lives worse off. So if you have all these good intentions and good thoughts about creating a partnership, a business partnership, why would you not want to document it? You should. Okay. And the third part here, the third essential element, was a view to profit. This part should be fairly self-explanatory. There can be different ways to describe it in everyday speak, but big picture, you're coming together to make money. You're coming together, to end up with more money than you started with, to increase cap funds somehow, whether through, selling goods or services, whatever the case may be. These people that formed that business with a common interest as regards the business and its future are trying to make money doing all of this work, right? And I'll say here just another tip. These videos are for, FYI purposes, right? These videos are not legal advice, as it says in the caption of the videos as well. But another tip or another FYI piece is that with partnerships, you can have a new one from scratch, so a partnership that's never existed before, or if you have a business, or if somebody that's trying to bring you into their partnership has a business, you can convert an existing business structure into a partnership as well. So I just wanted to open our minds as to that when we're talking partnerships here, I think the first instinct is to think newly created partnerships, which of course is the case, but newly created from what? You can create those partnerships from existing businesses. And going back to that third piece about view to profit, again, this is where documenting can help you, and one clause that we've seen gets treated strongly in case law is that of a clause to share in the profits. How will profits be shared among the partners? Okay, so just to recap, those three essential elements of forming a partnership, and again, the jurisdiction Graphene is based out of is Ontario, the province of Ontario in Canada. We're talking about a business. where those involved have that common interest, and that common interest or that situation we're finding ourselves in is for the purpose of turning a profit. Okay, and as a very key reminder here, while partnerships can exist without formal documentation, I strongly encourage you, if that's the setting you find yourself in, if you're already there, or if you're thinking, let's be honest here, we're talking business, on the other side of that is dollars. If you're thinking you'll save a little bit of money by not hiring a lawyer, by not going, about this in the most comprehensive way you can, as a lawyer, I know that a lot of the issues that come out of partnerships and partnership agreements and partnership formations are precisely because that paperwork was never there. And for the reasons I mentioned before about you, uniquely you or the group you're in, why would you not want to protect your interests and the interests of that group if this is something you're really serious about and you're hoping that something good comes out of it? And again, that partnership agreement will not only help you with, of course, identifying partners, but with identifying their responsibilities, their obligations, right? Like key legal terms. And as I mentioned in the profit, how are profits being shared between these persons involved as well? Okay. Some comments to leave off with here, and these are just, I'm trying to pack a few, FYIs into this video because partnerships are so common. They are one of the few methods of business formations, and partnerships are quite common, especially among some industries compared to others. I'll say that as well. One really important bit of information is that partners are not the same as shareholders. And why do I say that? Because whoever's starting a corporation, on the form, on the articles, there's a clause about shareholders. At least there was yesterday, so when I checked the form, and I worked with that form, so there still ought to be one today. But there's clauses about shareholders, and shareholders are not the same as partners. Okay, you can, if you go the corporate route, for example, you can have 20 shareholders in your business and not one of them is your partner, or you can have 10 shareholders and only 3 are partners. Shareholders are not the same as partners. That is critical information. And I'm just looking at my notes here, what else I've got written down. I see as my last bit, I've highlighted that it's important to mention in this video. For me, I feel it's important to share in this video that there are different kinds of partnership. There are general partnerships and there's limited liability partnerships. And I think it would be best that that's a topic for another video, because it can get very convoluted and there are very distinct legal implications for undergoing, for operating within each one of those structures. But big picture, remember that while there's certain buzzwords out there, partners, shareholders, directors, officers, even within that word of partners and partnership, there are different kinds of partnerships. And that's important, that's an important seed to plant in this video, and we can, grow it further in other videos. I hope this video has been informative and helpful for those that either are already in partnerships, maybe not through the most formal means, but they feel that you're in a partnership setting and you're starting to wonder, what have I gotten myself into? Is this the best thing for me? Is the setting I'm in, can anything I'm doing be enforced or maybe even held against me? And of course, the video would also be of good help to those contemplating, I've got this idea, I'm ready to hit the ground. Maybe there's a few other people that I could see helping me, but how do I bring them along? Do I bring them along, as part of my corporation? Do I bring them along as partners? And I hope this video has helped highlight some of the essential elements of what makes a partnership so. And I hope it's been helpful in that regard. I'll be posting more videos here on Graphene's channel about the different structures as well, so the corporations and the sole proprietorships And of course, for those with questions moving forward to the legal aspect of the partnership, whether it's partnership agreements or any documents that you want to be in place between you and other partners, whether limited liability or general partnership, if you already know about that at Graphene, that's what we're here to do. The name is Graphene Business Law. So we're more than happy and able to help you document your partnership well and have those agreements in place that'll help you, but also the partnership as well, because that should be important. And thanks again for watching this video. Feel free to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and that's it for today.